All right, we're back with another pick'em video. It is Thursday, March 13th in the NBA. We have a 5-game slate, kind of a sweet spot. Not going to get overwhelmed by a ton of different games and maybe miss some stuff. Really dial in on these games that are happening. And of course, liking the plays like always we got going on for this one. We're coming off a 3-in-1 day. We are going to go over the recap of yesterday's video. We're going to talk about the injury news, any teams on a back-to-back. There's actually no teams on a back-to-back, so we'll skip that, of course. And then we will start breaking down some plays for us. So if that sounds cool, definitely go ahead and leave the video a like, comment something down below, and subscribe if you are new. Let's hop into the recap of last video. All right, so quick recap of what we talked about yesterday. Our only miss was Mark Williams over 18.5 points and assists. Now, in that video, I was like, I like his rebounding potential, but guys haven't been rebounding well against this team. He ended up crushing it on the rebounds, so he did hit his PRA, come up just short on the points and assists. Derek White over 14.5 points. He crushed that, almost had that in the first quarter practically. He had it halfway through the second quarter. So great read there. D. White was a beast yesterday. Chris Paul under 11.5 rebounds and assists. He ended up with 11. I'm not sure what his potential assists looked like, but I think he was cashing pretty much every single one of them again against the same team. But he did stay under there for us at 10.5. Fortunately, just a miss there. But then Dylan Brooks over 13.5 points. Another great read there. He had 8 points early on in that game, so it was looking good all the way through. I know he had 15 at one point. I honestly don't know what he ended with. But yeah, 3-in-1 day. Good reads overall. I think we're going to try to continue this. I think that puts us on a 6-in-1 run over the last 2 videos. So cooking a little bit here. That's why I'm in the kitchen right now, if you notice that. I'm at a little cook sesh here. So yeah, good video picks. We're going to try to do that again. Let's hop into the injury news for today, though. Looking at some projected minutes. Washington versus Detroit. No Jaden Ivey still, of course. Sadiq Bey and Brogdon out for this Washington team. For the projected minutes for Washington, looks like Chris Middleton, 25 minutes. Marcus Smart had a pretty good game last time, 21 minutes. These guys played each other a few days ago. This is their third matchup of the season. So always going to big men against the Wizards is a great way to do this. Beef stew, Jalen Duren. I'm actually looking at a different play in this game, but it goes hand in hand with those guys. Lakers in Milwaukee. Luka is going to be a game time decision. This is a first half of back-to-back. Just keep that in mind. Luka, they're playing the Denver Nuggets tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. If they want to rest Luka, this might be a better game to do it in terms of the Western Conference standings. But also, Rui out. LeBron's still out. Kleba hasn't played in a million years. Jackson Hayes still out. Milwaukee side of things, Dame and Giannis getting that probable tag like always, and they should be ready to go. Bobby Portis still suspended for that team. Then we got Orlando and New Orleans. We got Zion Williamson healthy and ready to go. That's the big thing. Yves Missi is going to be out, and Kelly Olynyk. We're getting Makovic to start here. Look how many minutes he's going to get. 30 minutes in this game. So it could be a Zion show going up against this Orlando team that we know Giannis plays very well against. But yeah, nothing to talk about for the Orlando side of things. Jalen Suggs now off that injury report because he is done for the year. Brooklyn Nets in Chicago. Clowney, this injury report's the smallest I've seen in a long time. Clowney's going to be out for the Brooklyn Nets side of things. Looks like D'Lo is back and ready to go, projected for 27 minutes, but I can never really trust what he's going to get. Zaire Williams is a guy that's been scoring really, really well lately, so just keep that in mind. But with everyone back in the lineup, it's hard to tell. But he is projected for 28 minutes. And then they got a weak defense going up against Chicago. Lonzo Ball, they're going to be a game time decision. Josh Giddey, a fantasy player I traded for right at my trade deadline, ends up hurting his ankle pretty bad, and he's probably going to be out for a while. Sacramento, Sabonis going to be a game time decision. He's been going through shoot-arounds. He's been going through warm-ups and things like that. So I would expect him, to probably play today. If he's going to make his return, I'd assume it might be today. And they're going up against the Golden State Warriors. These two teams do not like each other. A lot of playoff play-in experience between these two teams. Kuminga, going to be a probable tag. I don't think he's played in a while. Yeah, he is. I didn't think he played last game, but yeah, he's been out for a long time. So just keep that in mind. Coming back into play, probably going to be on a minutes restriction of some sort. But Podziemski's still out for this Golden State Warriors team. So nothing too crazy, I'm going to say. Obviously, a lot of injuries, but in terms of the NBA this season, this is a smaller injury slate. So 5 good games, hopefully, and definitely liking a lot of plays. And you can also see the spreads on these games. The Detroit one is the biggest one, 13.5. They've crushed the Wizards in both games they played so far this year. But then we got a 7-point spread. That's nothing too crazy. 2.5, 2. And then another 7-point spread. So, yeah, should have some good games today, and I'm liking the potential for us. All right, so jumping into Props Madness, this is the tool I use every single video. If you're watching this thing, I'm just going to let the video do the talking for you, but it's an awesome tool. If you want to go ahead and check it out for a free week, use my link in the description down below and use code RICH. You're going to get that free week, and then you're also going to get 25% off your first month or your first year. But yeah, you're going to see how powerful this tool is. It is hands down the best research tool out there for the NBA and the WNBA, which I'm excited to use it for the first time coming this summer. So let's talk about our first play. It's going to be Cade Cunningham, and it's going to be 8.5 assists. This looks very, very low to me. You can get this at draft or on FanDuel right now at -130. Now, I will say A couple other books at 9.5. Maybe you want to look at his double-double line if everyone gets to 9.5. If you can't find this at 8.5, I would take the juice at minus 130. I think that's the best spot to do it. But if you don't see that and you're on PrizePicks, I take this at over 9. And then if you can't get it at 9 or 8.5 and you have to decide between a double-double or a 9.5 line, I would take his 9.5 line for sure for the plus money here, because I do think he's got much more potential to get the double-double with his assists than his rebounds. Obviously, he's a guy that can get, a triple-double or a double-double with rebounds, but I would take the plus money at 9.5 if you do find it there, but the play is going to be at 8.5. So let's take a look at why I'm looking at this. Obviously, I mentioned it in the injury report. This is a team, obviously the Wizards are one of the worst teams in the entire league. They are the worst team in the entire league. Probably we've seen the last 2 years, one of the worst teams I've ever seen. Their defensive rating is horrible. They did get a few new guys, Marcus Smart, Chris Middleton, maybe a few more vets, some good basketball minds, but hasn't really mattered all too much. And Cade Cunningham has played these guys twice already this year. He's had a double-double in both those games, maybe even triple-double, I'm not sure. Double-double? Triple-double in one of those games. But yeah, 10-plus assists in both these matchups. I think we see something similar to that today. And they also smacked these guys around in both games. It's like the exact same game. They won by 20 in both these games. It's hard to beat any sort of team by 23 different times. So hopefully this one stays a little bit closer and Cade can get a little bit more time than 32 or 31 minutes. Maybe we see 33, 34 minutes, and that could chip in with one more extra assist. But he hasn't really even needed it. He's over this in 58% of games already. Let's take a look at how he gets his assists. So at the rim, 45% of his assists come down there. They're ranked 23rd in that spot. 18th in terms of defense above the break, and 25th in terms of this mid-range area. So he gets the most of his assists at the rim, which I like to see because always big man crush this team. So looking at a guy like Jalen Duren, he's been right around his lines. His lines have moved up a little bit. We went to his points and rebounds the last time they played. It was at 26.5. Now it's at 27.5. I still think that's a pretty good look, to be honest. Then we got Beef Stew, Isaiah Stewart. He's another guy that's kind of being, it's going to be right hovering around that line. So I don't mind going to any of these big men, but I'm just going to go to Cade's assists. I think this is the easiest way to do it. Let's start looking at these filters. So you can see the dominant assist zone. I just mentioned this, but 45% come right at the rim. And we can make that filter here using Props Madness, dominant assist zone right here. Again, they are ranked 23rd. So I'm going to knock out the top 10 teams here. They also kind of a weaker defense above the break. So I'm going to go to his dominant assist zone 2. That's going to be that above the break 3. Knock out the top 10 teams there as well because they're ranked 18th in that department. We're already going to see a 72% hit rate just using those two filters. That's awesome to see. You can go ahead and take out Jaden Ivey, still 72% hit rate, 71.4, but we get a little bit more of a sample size in what Cade's been able to do. And you can also see a lot of double-doubles in these instances. Yes, some of these games he's landing on 9 exactly, and then a couple, he's going under here. But then also, the last thing I'd want to point out is this is a very weak defense. The Clippers are in this department, even the Nets are in this department, and they're pretty good defenses overall. So knocking out the teams with the defensive rating that is, pretty good. This Wizards team's horrible. One of the worst defense in this list, 28th ranked here, and just knocking out the bottom 10 again, we're going to see a 72.2% hit rate. So I think Cade's going to control this game like he has been. If they don't crush him for the third time by 20 plus points, maybe we see a little bit more of him, and he's been able to do it in the two matchups already. So double-double is an okay way to play this. You're going to get pretty good odds. He could do it with rebounds if he comes up just short on the assists. The play is going to be 8.5. If you can't find it 8.5, play it at 9.5 for plus money. I like that as well. So Cade, our first play of the day, assist here, and then also I would look at the big man on this team, Beef Stew, Jalen Duren. I think both those guys are in a pretty good correlated combo here with them to score the points. Move along to the next play here. It's going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo, a guy I haven't bet on in a while, just because he hasn't been getting a ton of minutes. I did bet on his assist a little bit ago, but those minutes are right back up. This is very much going to be a minutes play. 34 minutes, 34 minutes, 35 minutes. He's been very, very consistent after this little blurb of a down minutes because of the injury, but he's getting right back to that 34, 35 minute range, and he's projected for 35 minutes in this game. It is a 7-point spread. Luka Doncic is a game time decision right now. I'm kind of hoping he does play in this one. I'm not sure if he doesn't or not, but hopefully this one stays close and he can get his normal amount of minutes because he's going to be the biggest guy on the floor by far. We go back to the injury news that we talked about at the beginning of the video here. Rui Hachimura out. Jackson Hayes, the biggest guy in the court, out. LeBron James has been playing center for this team sometimes. He's going to be out. So they got Alex Len down low. He's projected for 15 minutes because he'll probably foul out in 15 minutes. And then everyone else coming in is going to be a smaller defender trying to defend Giannis. So they might put up a wall for him, but at the same time, Giannis is going to be the biggest guy in the court. I think he could rebound the ball here too, but I'm just going to go to his points. And it's at 29.5 on some books, but I'm looking at it at 28.5 on plenty of other books. This was on PrizePicks at 28.5 a second ago, but like BetMGM, looks like they got it pretty juiced. But Bovada's got this on. Hard Rock's got it at 28.5. Even at 29.5, I'd still play it there. I think the hit rate's almost the exact same. So again, this is a minutes play. I will point out the matchup here for him is pretty good. You have to take this with a grain of salt after the trade, obviously, and now with all the injuries. But typically transition, they're pretty weak. Isolation, they're pretty weak. And free throws, they're pretty strong. But now they have, Alex Len down there. I think he's going to be able to take advantage. And maybe Giannis gets to the free throw line 10 to 15 times because he's just taking advantage of that matchup. Now, he might not hit half of them, but if he does, those are just free points on the board for us. So 28.5 is going to be the official play here. That's where I got it. If you do find it at 29.5, but I want to see the minutes. Let's get these filters. Let's get this hit rate looking a little bit better. He's projected for 35, like I've said 15 times. If he's going to get 33 plus minutes, 72% hit rate. If he's going to get 33 to 37%, 37 minutes, 65% hit rate. And then Giannis is a man of the people. I say it all the time. Whenever he plays at home, he plays a little bit better because he loves that crowd. 68% of games at home playing this much time. And he's the biggest guy in the court. I like his dominance potential for this game a whole bunch. Now, the one game I want to point out specifically is the two games against the Dallas Mavericks. One of these games they won by 15. The other one they won by 30, and he played 25 minutes. That's the best matchup I can kind of put into like a similar boat as this Lakers team because they're dealing with injuries. They have no players above like 6'9" in their lineup, and Giannis was able to dominate both those games. So 15-point victory, 30-point victory. He only played 25 minutes in that one, 32 minutes in that one. If we can see that 33, 34, 35 minutes from Giannis on a team that doesn't have a big man down low, that's someone they can rely on. He's been able to dominate those situations, and even beyond that, just in the amount of minutes he's getting at home, we just saw the hit rate on that. So Giannis, not going to overthink it here. 30-plus points, whatever you want to get him at. 28.5 is going to be the official play. But yeah, I love Giannis's scoring potential today. And then kind of in the same breath, the actual biggest guy that's going to be on the floor is going to be Brook Lopez, and he's been scoring the ball extremely well recently. If you go to the app, ever since the trade, they got Kyle Kuzma in town, and then Bobby Portis out with the suspension. You can see the hit rate, 72% of games he is over this. We've gone to Brook Lopez over the past few weeks, I think multiple times for sure. And you can actually see the last 3 games he did miss. They were against like very, very hard defenses for a guy like Brook Lopez. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic, great teams interiorly. And then the other team he missed, 23 minutes in a 30-point blowout. Didn't have to do much. He literally shot one time. So even the 3 games he did miss, you can kind of see why he missed. But he's been a wagon. Brook Lopez has been. Ever since Bobby Portis went down, you can see similar types of players against the Lakers have been able to do pretty well. So definitely another play that I'm really liking here. I'd put in an official video pick if I didn't already have Giannis. I might just throw it in there actually anyway because I do like Brook. Maybe you don't play him on the same slip, but I think you totally could. Brook Lopez has just been dominating, and both these guys are going to be the biggest guys in the court by far for most of this game. And then the last thing I'll say about the Bucks is I do like the rebounding potential here as well. Again, I think the Lakers are going to be small today. I was looking at Taurean Prince at 3.5. It's kind of juice. Giannis's rebounds line is pretty high at 12.5. The hit rate's not amazing, but I think he could absolutely dominate his boards. But Brook Lopez is the guy I think I might land on. He's been getting a whole lot of rebounds without Bobby Portis in the lineup. I'll do the exact same thing I just did for his points, and you can see he's over this in 63% of games. If you want to do the points and rebounds, I like this hit rate as well. But even if you want to go to Brook Lopez's points and do his rebounds, that'll probably get you a pretty good return, especially because his 5.5 line is at plus 112 right now on some books. I think you could definitely mess around with his rebound potential here as well. You can see the last game against the Mavericks, that's a 30-point blowout. He only played 23 minutes, but in a little bit more normal game here, 29 minutes in that other game, that's with this Dallas Mavericks team struggling with big man down low. He had 17 rebound chances, and he did grab 6 of them. So Brook, I think, in a pretty good spot here to also grab some boards. Next thing I'm looking at here is going to be D'Angelo Russell, D-Lo at rebounds and assists, 8.5. We're getting pretty good value here. A lot of books heavily favoring the under, but I am taking the over here, and I'll tell you why. He's going up against the Chicago Bulls. He has already played these guys 0 times this season, so there's nothing to look at there. But he's playing with Nick Claxton. He's on the Brooklyn Nets now. Obviously played a whole bunch of time with the Lakers this season, but with Nick Claxton in the lineup, he's playing 50% of games. And if D'Lo doesn't get this line, I'm probably just done betting on D'Lo, honestly, for the rest of the season. I'm not holding a grudge or anything interesting. He's just a little bit harder to predict. You can see some of these games 18 minutes, some of these games 25 minutes, 24 minutes. But then the last two games, 29 minutes on both of those. He did sit out last game, so I think he's going to be well rested and ready to go. And he's projected for 29 minutes in this game. If you go to RotoWire, check the minutes, he's projected, for 27 minutes. So I want to see games he's playing that much time with Nick Claxton in the lineup. We're going to see 25 to 29 minutes here, and we're going to see a 68% hit rate. If he's able to get a little bit more, I'd love to see that as well. But then also the potential assists is what I want to look at, because that's what's going to carry this line. Down low, 30% or 46% of his assists come right down low. You can see similar types of players crushing this line against the Bulls. They're ranked dead last in terms of that restricted area assist zone. That's what I want to be looking at here. Going to that assist zone, looking at taking out the top 10 teams. Now this jumps to a 67% hit rate. If you add in the rebounds and assists, still a 67% hit rate. And then the last thing I'd look at is, even if you want to look a little bit deeper into this one, oops, I'm bouncing all over the place. If you want to look a little bit deeper in this one, dominant assist zone, let's go bottom 15 in the league. He's now over in 5 of 6 of those games with Claxton lineup, getting 25 to 29 minutes, which hopefully he could get even a little bit more than that. He's been able to crush this line. So really good spot here for him to assist the ball. Rebounds, I don't hate this either, because similar types of players are by position. Have been able to go over against this Bulls team also. I think D'Lo, if he gets the time, he should be able to, to carry this offense a little bit, get some dimes. That's the main thing I want to look at here. But he's been able to chip in with some rebounds here as well. So 83% hit rate with Claxton lineup going against this, weak interior defense in this amount of time. D'Lo is looking pretty good. It's just hard to predict if he's going to get the time or not. But if he doesn't, I'm done with D'Lo for the rest of the year. If he does, though, pat D'Lo on the back. And if you can get that much time in the lineup, he's someone to look at as well. So I think that's going to do it for the official picks today. I actually have 3 leans that I want to go through too. I think there are 2 of them are in the same game. I don't mind parlaying those 2 together if you're someone that's on a DFS platform or something like that. But if you got to this point in the video, definitely go and leave the video a like, comment something down below, and subscribe if you are new. I'm going to skip the DG Fantasy slip of the day just for the day, just in the sense of time. I want to get this out to you guys so you can all watch it. I appreciate everyone watching. Let's go through our leans here. Steph Curry's going to be the first one at 25.5 points. Obviously, with Jimmy Butler in town, he's been very, very good. He's over this in 61% of games. And then some of these games, they're absolutely crushing teams. 24-point blowout, 36-point blowout. So he's projected for 34 minutes in this game. If he's going to get that much time on the court, that's not the minutes, I want to go to minutes. If he's going to get that much time on the court with Jimmy Butler, who literally came to town and said, yeah, I know what I'm supposed to do here, get Steph Curry the ball and get out of the way. And that's kind of what's been going on, which is the funny part. So he's projected for 34 minutes in this one. Games he's getting 32 to 36 minutes. He's over this in 87% of those games. With Jimmy Butler on the court, I don't mind his scoring potential here. He has not had a very good game against the Sacramento Kings so far this year. But again, I love the above the break 3 potential. He's actually over his threes line in all of these as well. This is at minus 125, so I like to see the books are favoring his over here as well. So you can go to his threes, you go to his points. You could parlay those 2 together, maybe even get a little plus money. But I do think Steph Curry's in a pretty good spot to score the ball here. I will point out again before I get off Curry, the head-to-head hasn't looked amazing. He hasn't gone over in any 3 games in terms of threes. He did creep over one time, and then, of course, he did play this team with Jimmy Butler, but they won by 24 points. He played 31 minutes and did shoot super efficiently. So hopefully this one stays a little bit closer, potentially get Sabonis back on the floor. I think that'd be a plus for us just in terms of the minutes he's going to get. So I like Steph Curry. In the same breath, I do like our boy DeMar DeRozan. This is someone I've gone to before against this team. He scored 12 points. That was a 30-point win. Only played 31 minutes, didn't have to do much. Then he scored 32 points and also had a 34-point game against this team. Why do I like this? Well, it's because he's a mid-range merchant. He's always been his entire career pretty much. 28th in terms of mid-range, that's their defense. They also rank 30th in terms of the non-restricted area paint. Similar types of players to him have gone over 64% of times against this Warriors team, and they're also crushing their line with a 3-point differential. So these mid-range guys playing really, really well against this team. If you're hoping this game stays close and both these guys get the minutes, I obviously like this potential for him. Now, in terms of his scoring lately, ever since pretty much Zach LaVine came to town, he has not been scoring as much. I'll point that out. This is kind of why it's more like a lean. But I do like his spot here. We can go to away games. He always gets a boost in away games. And then obviously the last thing I'll look at is, filtering in that dominant scoring zone. That's going to be that mid-range going to, bottom 20 teams in the league, 61% hit rate. Add on the fact that he's away. He's over this in 66.7% of games. So I like DeMar. I like Steph Curry in both these games. And I just did my whole DeMar DeRozan breakdown. And I was like, I thought these hit rates looked a little bit better. And that was at 22.5. I found this at 21.5. A lot of books still have it at 21.5. But if you play this at 22.5, I also still like it here. But I do want to do the breakdown once more at the 21.5 here, and also put in the fact that he's projected for 37 minutes here. This is a 7-point spread. Again, these two teams don't like each other. If he's going to get 35 to 40 minutes or whatever it might be, again projected for 37 here. This is a 58% hit rate right off the bat. Then you put in those dominant scoring zones like we were talking about. He's a mid-range merchant. This Warriors team runs people off the 3-point line, and he is a guy that does a lot of his damage in the mid-range. You can see similar types of mid-range guys absolutely crush this team. And just putting in the minutes and going to that dominant scoring zone, again, this is the filter we put on last time, he's over in 10 of 11 games. So DeMar, definitely a guy I'm liking. The reason it's a lean is because Zach LaVine is in town. I might end up making this a full play as of right now. Yes, it is a lean. But yeah, with Zach LaVine in town, he hasn't been as efficient. Or any of these games with Zach LaVine, yeah, he's done 3 games with Zach LaVine. Only had 22 points in a couple of those games. So I definitely recommend playing this at 21.5. At 21.5, it's an official play. At 22.5, it's more of a lean. How about that? And I thought I had 3 leans, but I only have 2. And DeMar DeRozan's like half an official play, half a lean here. So let's go over the recap here. I will move DeMar DeRozan into that official play. So I guess I'll just go ahead and do that right now. Edits here. We'll get DeMar DeRozan in the official plays at 21.5. Again, if you find him at 22.5, I still like it, but it's more of a lean just because with Zach LaVine in town, he hasn't been scoring as much, but he's got a perfect matchup here. So going over what we got Cade Cunningham over 8.5 assists, Giannis over 28.5 points. I'd play it at 29.5 as well. Brook Lopez, maybe don't play him in the same slip as Giannis, but I also think he probably could. But over his 11.5 points has been awesome. D'Lo at 8.5 rebounds and assists. This is favored on the over or on the under for a lot of books, so definitely a nice value play. It's not exactly a plus money play, but I was seeing this at like minus 102, minus 104, and if D'Lo comes up short, I think it's probably because he doesn't get the minutes. But if he gets, the 29 minutes that he's projected, 27 minutes that he's projected, this is a pretty good spot for him against the Bulls. And then the last full official pick here is DeMar at 21.5. Again, I've said it now 3 times in the last 2 minutes. If it's at 22.5, I'd put it down with Steph Curry at the leans. And that brings us to a lean. Steph Curry over 25.5 points. And then a plus money lean I got. Brook Lopez over his 5.5 rebounds. I do like his rebounding potential in this one. So only a 5-game slate, but hey, that lets us deep dive into the games that we got going on. And I think we got some good matchups for a lot of different guys. So giving you guys a whole bunch of plays, 5 official plays here, and a couple leans. Hopefully you guys got some value from this one. So that'll do it for me in this video. If you want to get access to all my plays and just a really fun community where you can talk to like-minded people in a fun Discord community, check out the link down below. You can join there. There's plenty of different ways to get in for free. Sign up for Underdog, sign up for Betr, sign up for Sleeper, PrizePicks, any of those different platforms down there in the list. Sign up using my code. Some of them are different. Some of them are RichPicks. Some of them are Rich. Dabble's Rich DFS. If you're not on any of those and they're available for you, I highly recommend checking them out. You're going to get some sort of promotion for using my code when signing up in the form of free money, essentially, deposit matches or bonus squares or free squares or whatever it might be. So that's an awesome plus. But also, again, let me know if you use my code. Comment that or hit me up in the free part of the Discord and say, hey, use your code. I'd love to get a free month in the Discord, and I'll go ahead and do that for you. Obviously, check out DG Fantasy. Check out DG Fantasy, but also check out Props Madness. That's what we're using the entire video here. You can get a free week using my code RICH. Link in the description down below as well. But you also get 25% off your first month or your first year. And yes, they have WNBA. And then typically we do a DG Fantasy slip of the day, but we didn't get to it. We didn't have enough time today. But you can see the power of this tool. I've showed it off in a bunch of videos. It's somewhere where you can go if you especially have DFS platforms. Let's say you're making a pick for PrizePicks, an Underdog slip, a Betr slip, a Dabble slip, whatever you might be wanting to do. You can just go in here, see where the market value is wrong, and you can attack the lines. You're pretty much buying stocks for a discounted price. It is a very, very, very powerful tool. A lot of professional sports bettors only bet using positive or EV plus EV expected value, and that's what this tool does. And it's like that. You can make very, very good slips without much research, and you just take pretty much blindly the top plays here because all these different billion-dollar companies have already put their research into the plays and made their lines accordingly. And you can again just see where the books or the DFS platforms are a little bit behind where the value is, and get some really good plays there. So DG Fantasy, check that out. Also link in the description down below. You can get 25% off your first month. So that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Again, like, subscribe, comment, all those good things. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck with all your bets. Peace out.